Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in across the frequency broadband of Guiding Delight. Our show will start momentarily. Shall we? Oh. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's that time again. Guiding Delight. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything has been phenomenal. Of course, over the situations of the last 2 weeks, it's been pretty interesting. So I'm sure we're all dealing with a little bit of trauma from that. But what I'm here to do today is to get you past that and show you the fascinations of what we've discovered over the last couple of weeks. So tune in, get excited, because we are going to break it down. Here we go. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. That was a horrible intro, but yeah, so it's been very interesting over the last couple of weeks. I've obviously wanted to express myself better on the YouTube channel and be more consistent and having that discipline. Discipline and other areas have come more prevalent. Let's put it that way. But in the same sense, nonetheless, it's also a time to self-reflect, right? So when I don't entangle myself quite so often, the noise surrounding my aura, my energies of bodies, is definitely quite different. So with all that put together, I've been realizing, especially over the last 2 weeks or so, it seems like we went out of the mental constraints and the mental test, and we've gotten more into the emotional, right? And I haven't really studied it from a numerological standpoint or an astrological standpoint and what's causing the emotions to be such. I'm just picking up on how those emotions are acting, right? So because the emotions have been more testing and trying, right, to see where your emotions are. Why are we testing your emotions? They would say, well, emotions, what do they do? What do your emotions do? They drive physical reactors that happen within the body, right? Somebody gets on your nerves, right? They're stepping on your nerves. So now you're frigidity and your nerves, you get nervous, right? Think about it. So as somebody gets on our nerves, it makes us nervous. What are we doing? Huh? We're having an emotional response, right? So a lot of time I want to say that the mental drives the emotional, but really the emotional body and the physical body are almost two of the same. The mental plays the gap in between, but it's almost like a pyramid. The physical body, the emotional body, and then up high, we'll call that with the mental body. And so now we've been in this emotional body. We've had these bodies going crazy, if you will. The emotional response is happening, causing an action to the body, right? So the emotional distresses, the emotional tendencies have been up. Okay. What's that driving to the body? It's causing chemical reactions to happen within the body because of the emotional response to the frequency that was presented within the reality. Right? I switched gears a little bit. But yeah, so the emotional body is so tied to that physical body. So we're feeling the physical body. And that's why we've seen not only the emotional body stuff be prevalent, but the physical body, right? So let's say there's not much left in your emotional body, but there's still a little bit of emotion in there, but it drives all that reaction to the physical body. That's probably when your awareness is going physical body, detox, get more water, take care of yourself, lay off the chemical usage and everything else in between, right? Become healthy. Maybe take that fast, right? These awarenesses are coming into the body as saying, drink this, do that, right? The intuition, are you following that, right? Because for certain individuals, like I said, because the emotional body is more tamed, what's the emotional body most likely to infect or affect, I should say, not infect? That's going to be the physical body, right? So if we can strengthen our physical bodies, it also builds strength into our emotional bodies. But just to see how the two are tied together, you know, you can physically do something, right or wrong, that causes an emotional response, right? Well, sometimes it might not cause an emotional response within you, as in, I don't know, a victory or achieving something, getting super excited. Maybe that's not it, but it's the certain win you get, the certain achievement. Yeah, that energy you get when you obtain that emotional response spark. For me, if I obtain it, then I can not have the emotional response, right? It's almost like that manifestation or attraction or whatever you want to call it, where you automatically see yourself already having it. And since you already see yourself having it, it just wanders its way, right? You already achieved it. It's kind of synchronicity has been happening in my life, right? So the mental and the emotional body are also tied together. Like I said, the mental would kind of bridge the gap between the physical and the emotional. But really, that hasn't been playing out as to been getting pressured from the quantum field or the energies around our our little beings, right? The energy surrounding around our little beings right now is not focused on the mental. In fact, it's not even driving a mental response. But for some of us with an unclear mental body, our mental body has been driving us crazy because the emotional body is over responding. The physical body can't help but keep up, which is causing the mental body to be mentally weak, right? I can't make it, right? Victimhood mentality to the max. So I hope you guys aren't dealing with any of that. In fact, I wish upon all my brothers and sisters not have to live through that. But I'm trying to spell it out a little bit here, okay? If we think about it. So I'm having over emotional reaction. It's causing my physical body to be in a non-optimization, which is causing my mental body to believe there's something wrong. You see that loop? So that loop's playing out right now, unfortunately, and it's just driving people crazy. And I can see it. I hope you all can realize it and see it for yourselves. I guess what I'm saying is that energy is swirling and growing. All right, let's compress it. Let's try to shrink it because it's pretty fascinating when you get the emotional body, the physical body, and the mental body somewhat in check or balanced, if you will, because that allows this energy of the three bodies to harmonize to reach out into the higher energy, right? The celestial, the magnetism, the light body, right? Even the astral body for some people, but obviously the astral body is one body that we suggest you keep home at all times, right? And if it wanders away, you got to wander it back home, right? You got to take care of that astral body and make them nice and safe. Because if the astral body gets left out there and it has to do whatever it has to do to survive, it could cause some good tormenting. But that's the thing, tying the bodies together, understanding my mental body is being affected by my emotional and my physical body, which is causing more mental chaos. Right. Obviously, our numerologies, our signs, we're all built a little bit differently, right? For me, I'm definitely more intellectual. If you can't tell how the way I started this conversation out today about really deep thinking, because I've been in a really deep thinking mode, a lot of self reflection, a lot of where are we at on the point, right? And I guess for me right now, it's a harvesting end, right? So I'm seeing what I've harvested this year. I'm seeing what rotten fruit I had, what things didn't turn out the way I wanted it to be, but then also self-criticizing myself as into what can be improved upon. What can I do to have a more heavier harvest the next year, right? What's some things that I was wanting to accomplish this year, but it didn't accomplish. So I'm having all these self-realizations, self-reflections to say, okay, I'm coming to the end of my harvest. I'm getting ready for my winter, my death, right? My full chop off at the ground because the flowers are no more. Not looking forward to that, but man, did we not have a great October? I don't know how it was for the rest of October for everybody else in the region or anywhere, I guess to say the United States, but here in Ohio, US of A, it was quite nice for an October. In fact, we got it almost halfway into November and we didn't have any cold days. And then all of a sudden, it literally went from 73 to snow in like 24 hours. So, welcome to Ohio. I'm sure the Midwest and a little bit of the Mideast experienced all that as well. But, the blessings we had this year going in kind of eases us in. But, within one moon cycle, winter's going to be here. Now, I'm thinking about this in my head and I'm like, man, Christmas is already going to be here. And then I seen some people the other day and I'm like, well, I guess we'll see in a few weeks on Thanksgiving. They're like next week. I'm like, where has this time gone? Right. So the speeding up of our orbital, the energies combining, the conscious and the conscious collective coming together more online over the last couple months has really added speed and turbulence to that. But we've also gotten more of what do we want? How does it make us feel? How does it affect our bodies? It's been so prevalent, especially over the last 3 months. So, no, you're not the only one dealing with that. How do we correct it? I don't know. What do we do about it? Well, I think it's good to, self-analyze yourself and know where you stand and where you want to be. It's definitely, it's too interesting not to pay attention to what's going on, right? But in the same sense, when you keep yourself clear and you see the environment, the electromagnetic pools that are happening within our solar system, they begin to affect certain patterns, right? And if those patterns are smaller, then the patterns aren't so effective. But if the pattern's big, right, small little shift causes, it's like a torque ratio. Bigger it is, one little tooth misses. You wouldn't think it does. But if it's small and it's only got a few teeth and you miss one tooth, you're going to see a greater. That was a horrible analogy. What is wrong with me? Hey, welcome to Guiding Delight. I am your space commander tonight. Not really. Oh, man, it's just been good. Want to get in a carpool. Obviously, we got to do a little something here. But as I am talking about the mental and the emotional body, I have something in here that would help explain a little bit more of what I'm trying to say from a linear standpoint, which I know is good. Because if we can get quantum into linearity, we're going to be going places, right? I love this one. You are the drug. You are the chemistry makeup. Become the ultimate drug. The chakras, right? Form your chakras so that they can become in line and become your drug. I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, this is definitely a time to come back in our power. Stop being so hard on ourselves, right? Self-criticalness. We've talked about that many times on the channel, but you are your worst critic. So quit being so hard on yourself and motivate yourself to do better, right? We can't change everything overnight, but if we can, chip away at the bit every day, I think what gets us the most is when we look at our frustrations of our past and our current situations, and we forget to look at the future. And before you know it, we've been living in the past for way too long, and it's caused way too much regret. And we gotta get to the point where we can push through those limitations, right? And when there's no regret, it's like an ultimate of thyself, right? Knowing thyself, forgiving the self love, right? And once you get into that, then you start getting into those wavelengths. But I'm almost here to find this population. I think the particle wave is going to do it. Got a few people chilling out. Got any questions, put them in the chat. Welcome. Hope you guys are doing great. I'm looking for a diagram, but I'm not seeing it. I think I can use this one. So these are your original thought structures, right? In your quantum field, in your brain, right? And there's all these different influences coming in. When you're balanced out and you have a clear mind, the of chaos and confusion is not inside your brain. So everything is more like this. It's harmonized, back and forth, even pull. When you're over the top, frustrated and confused, you got this quantum web, right? So your energies can't release out. You can't get anything more back in because you've tied your own web. You've sealed yourself up because you've got emotional responses that are mental constraints that affect the body. So it's like unraveling all those, right? Oh, great. Nobody wants to do that. There goes the one person that was in here. That's what everybody wants to hear today. Tuesday for me is mental day. It's very positive and uplifting. That's why I decided to do these lives, energy updates on Tuesday. I can't find that. Maybe it must be the other notebook. Anyway, apologize for the drag out there. No editing this. I think if this wasn't live, I probably would have stopped and restarted. But hey, 20 minutes in, feeling great. Let's go. Nobody's here. I feel like I can't even do tell me something good unless someone's here to expand that joy with me on that. I'll hold off on that. Do a little energy reading. Cards are great. I've been using the same deck of cards forever. I think it's time to upgrade. I think it's time to get a new deck of cards, but who knows? But the cards shall bring a little bit of clarity. I know with the holiday coming up, Thanksgiving, it's can be some trying times depending on your family situation. But really, I think it's an awesome opportunity, time to go into your family and be like, test yourself, right? How do I respond and how do I act when maybe political things are brought up or this and that? Staying in your truth but not showing all your cards, right? Can you be humble and harmonized upon your family members of some you cannot stand? Hopefully, over the years, you've worked on those connections and they've gotten stronger, not weaker. But I know family situations can be pretty daunting. With that being said, you are powerful creator beings, right? So create it, right? Don't just go into Thanksgiving thinking, oh, this so-and-so is going to act like this, and this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then your mom's going to get in there. No. Don't put yourself in that. Don't build an expectation. Because you're putting intuition out there for it to happen, right? You're inviting it to happen. Do you want to invite that to happen? I don't think so, right? So how good can you control the energy, aka the situation within the environment that you are pronounced to be in? I would suggest putting a piece of labradorite in your pocket makes you a colorful rainbow, right? So you get a little bit of help from those unicorns, if you know what I mean. Well, the cards kind of make sense. Overall message, first chakra, Archangel Michael, right? Wow, is that so prevalent? Men got to stand up and be men, right? We got to get back in this masculinity, right? But in the same sense, we got to have the balance between the femininity. But we got to stand up for ourselves, right? We can't let people just keep pouncing over us, right? When somebody tells me this is the way it is, this is the way it's always going to be, no, no. Depending on who it is, I might say not in my reality. But if it's somebody who, I'm going to have to see it on a weekly basis, I'll just be like, no. That's not how it goes. I won't explain it, but I'll say the spell to keep it from happening, right? How prevalent is it, though, to really understand, okay, we are put here as a sex to dominate that sex. I'm not even going to get into it. Shame on me. But no, developing that first chakra, right? Building your root, your foundation, your security, right? Stepping out of fear, having the strength and the charisma to just fight through all this garbage, right? To say, no, it's not going to affect me because I'm not going to allow it to affect me. Why am I not going to allow it to affect me? Because I'm sovereignty, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am soul, I'm taking it all back. I ain't giving you nothing. Right? That's an ego death for some of us because we want to protect and we want to conform and confine ourselves to blend in with a program that we never even signed up for, right? So come down, Archangel Micah, give us that strength and courage. Let us let it fill us up and move us on strong. So the first card, we've seen it too many times, victory. I mean, we know we've got victory, but do we understand we got victory? I mean, maybe we do, maybe we don't. We won getting to this point. We're already shifting. We've already tipped the scales, right? But there's a lot of people losing right now, right? There's a lot of systematical issues, not just in America, right? People are having to make hard decisions. It's unfortunate because being in that unfortunate situation of lack, it doesn't feel like victory, right? We have to have the understanding and awareness that we've won and that things are harmonizing themselves and that we can put ourselves in better positions. We have more opportunities for unity. Right? It's like that yin and the yang. What side of the page are you on? Is the glass half full or the glass half empty? Right? Changing your perspective into something more divinely aligned can help bring that divinity that you deserve to you. So even though your situation might not feel like victory, remember yourself as in victory, right? And if your situation is not victory, mentally, with your imagination, put yourself in a victorial mode. How would you feel? How would you respond? What would you do? And hold that, right? Because the second card's patience. So we got to have the patience. For the victory to fully play out, we need to remind ourselves to have patience, right? That's a card that comes up way often too much, right? I want it now, Dad. I want the golden egg now. I get it. That's probably, like I said before, one of the most hardest things that it is to be multidimensional. Coming here as a human and having to wait. When you know where you come from, having the single thought of an object would automatically make it appear, right? That's how good the consciousness and the software works when the energy gets closer to the source. Now, I think we're fractalized, particleized, really, really far away from source, so much farther that me personally, I would almost believe there was no God. The little devilish child I used to be. Looking back, what a beautiful time we're in. So, next card was a magician in the mirror. You got to remember you are the magician. You got to look yourself in the mirror. Find the magic within your eyes. It's that 5 and a 3, 8, infinity, infinite potential. Magician in the mirror. You have all that magic inside of you. It's built into your DNA, whether you realize it or not. Somebody who's been doing this a long time, somebody who's been just started, right? I don't have very many years under my belt, but what I do have is consistency, dedication, persistency into expanding my energy, expanding my DNA, right? Moving, manipulating energy, understanding what is that? What did I just do? I don't know. I just moved energy. And then having a full circle to, I'm not going to move energy because I need to keep the sacredness of it, right? I need to understand what effects happens when I move certain energies, right? Fast forward to where we are, I understand the magician in the mirror, right? I understand the hot and the cold, the fire and the ice. It's very interesting when we understand those different sides of duality and we put it together, right? Because we can live non-dualistic, or we can keep a mindset of being one. Everything is the way it's going to be. Everything is unity. This is the way we desired it. And then boom, we're good, right? But in the same sense, that's not really exactly how it happens down here in a linear plane, separated so far from creator source, right? We don't have enough source juice down here, right? We're trying to raise our consciousnesses up so we can go meet that energy in the middle and try to drag it down, right? But the whole collectiveness, the whole collective consciousness can't even fathom that high of a frequency to keep that permanent bond, right? So that's what we're trying to do, permanently bond the higher information into the lower fractality of ourselves. Which I know that seems like a mouthful. It really does. And it gets me excited because understanding the magic, the magistics. I mean, just think about the history of what were possible, maybe relive a couple past lives. So you understand the power and the understanding of this higher consciousness and what it's done, right? And how people have banished you before. You see, we got to get past the whole banishment and fear, because this is the time where we're most supported. We have more individuals that have lived an esoterical, witchy, super earth, but super galaxy vibe, right? They're all coming back on the planet. And look at the numerology just from my year, just from the millennials in the same sense. All the powerful people that were born and within those sides of those numbers, and it's coming out, right? Becoming young adults, late 30s to early 30s. We're in that range. We've almost got maximum influence. You know what happens when our generation reaches 50? All of those old people who have been telling us what to do and smacking us with rulers will not be there. In fact, we probably won't even have rulers. I don't know. Maybe they'll stay around. It is nice to draw a straight line, but who draws anymore? These damn computers, right? So remembering you're the magic, you are the magician in the mirror, is going to be crucial, because if we can pull this life force energy, and this is something I've been working on extremely hard over the last 2 months, very diligently, pulling in maximum chi, maximum energy, getting my chlorophyll going, boosting my energies, which is funny because I didn't even do it before this video. I could have done it. And I shocked you at the beginning, but getting these energies flowing, right? And allowing the mental to defrag, allowing the emotions to run wild in a creative, playful manner, right? And then also, I lost my train of thought. Oh, sometimes it happens. Got whiz wiped. Sometimes when you're channeling the best information, like it's so clear and so vibrant coming through just so perfectly, and all of a sudden it just hits and it's gone. But you remember the thought and you'll come back to it later. So as I was saying, the whole message of the cards coming down to is first chakra, Archangel Michael. Strength and courage. Have strength and courage to become the magician in the mirror. You are the magician in the mirror. You have to accept it, embody it, become it, right? Be rad. Get on it. Be that magician in the mirror. Patience. It's going to take time for that energy to code through all your vessels. You're going to have to do a little bit of energy movement. Well, it's push-ups, sit-ups, chi, whatever it is. You're going to have to get that energy moving through. You have a little patience while that energy turns you into the magician. But access is already granted. You've already won the key. The key now is to get out of the emotions, to get out of the mental, allow those to calm down so that the body can rest. Once the body rests, then you can heal that first chakra, right? You can heal that fear that's inside you. You can heal taking a courageous moment, right? Stepping into an unfamiliar plane. You can handle that once you become a magician in the mirror. When you're the magician, you can do anything. So that was the cards. Hope you guys enjoyed that. This feels good. This feels good. I'm just really, really blown away. I got many questions. I know I was sitting here for a reason to lead. I realize the depths of my soul and how old I really am, right? But in the same sense, there's just so many programs that I'm still fighting through, right? Are we going to be saved? Right? Is Jesus coming back? Is there going to be a solar flash? Aren't we the ones we've been waiting for? What are we waiting for? Why are we waiting? Did I choose to wait? Other people aren't waiting. Should I not wait either? It's definitely been a back and forth and a dupes and a daisy. I'm telling you, it's not easy having a mental construct that some of us do. And what's very interesting is by being human, we pause in the collective of not the collective. We're pausing the quantum from having to be effective and influenced by us, right? So we block that out. But then we allow it to come back in through our intuition, our spiritual journey, right? We get immersed in all that again. And then we realize how powerful it is to be a human, because a human is the most powerful because it's the most fractal version of the soul. It's the most dense, the most heavy. It would be like the hardest metal, right? The diamond, right? Because it's had all of those different experiences compressed into a vessel that has 5 beautiful senses, that lives in a completely organic beauty of a planet, right? Which I think is unfortunate, the use of technology and stuff. Like, we don't need it, but in the same sense, it's nice to bring us together and overthrow their system. They thought those things were going to program us, but obviously some of us have wised up. We went to YouTube and we've started learning. Some of us went to YouTube and started to find our brothers and sisters out there who deal with the same struggles of the mind that we do, right? It's definitely fun meeting you guys and experiencing just life in general, right? For me, it's been it's been definitely interesting. So, with the family and the wife and just a multi-consciousness. But my biggest thing lately I've been working on too is being present, right? So I'm being present in a situation, but then in my presence, what is that noise? Sounds like a damn spaceship's landing on the house. What is it? As you see, I get distracted very easily. ADHD, whatever you call it. I call it a high, fast moving brain. Can you keep up? There's so many thoughts generated. What do I attach to? What do I feel, right? I was going on something that was good. I wanted to finish it. It's about something I was dealing with lately. Damn, that's a heavy ass train then. That's what that is. Floor started rumbling. So let's just train a transmutation wash upon us and clear out all that garbage we no longer do. Big, deep inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Allow that train of transmutation and train it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're going to clear it out. Yeah, it's amazing once we open ourselves up to the possibility that there is more to life and we step past the frustration of being lied to and past the frustration of being hoodwinked and then past the victim mentality and the blaming game, how far we can really portray ourselves. And well, not really portray ourselves. It's good to portray ourselves, but we want to put ourselves into that, right? We want to vision ourselves there, and then we want to see ourselves get there, right? That's what I mean by portray ourselves there. As we become those greater versions, as we work to, right? So diligently, and the energies open up and the DNA opens up, what happens, right? What's DNA? DNA is information. So the more I'm becoming light body active, the more DNA is turned on within my body, the more physical gifts I'm getting, right? Oh, that's what I was saying. Oh, thank God it came back. So being with the family and dealing with the family aspects of things, right? Being present. I know there's this multidimensionality self that's inside of me, but it's almost like I got a shutter that closes. Says no, I'm dealing with myself, and I'm not letting the collective, I'm not letting the environment influence me so much as what's in my innate environment, my like within my 369, right? And as I'm doing that, when I come back, right, when I expand myself up, that's always the funny is like, where'd you go? Or where'd you been? Like, it's almost like I've completely created a cloaking mechanism for the 5D. So when I go to the 5D, people are more intrigued. So they're more intrigued. So the higher selves want to know me because my 5-dimensional version's so interesting. But the 5-dimensional version goes straight to the escape door or the side stairs. Like it's zigzagged out. We're going to higher places. And bringing that energy down over the last couple weeks, it's been phenomenal for me. Really, literally, like some of these high energies is where I want to be. Like I want that higher energy down here all the time, right? And I know what it's like to go up there, reach it, connect to it, and pull some of it down. But you can't stay in that state for too long, or you'll go cuckoo cuckoo. I know from personal experience, right? But anyway, as we balance ourselves out and we understand how to get that energy, when the energies of the solar flash, when our DNA is upgrading, when all these energetical things are happening, that's pulling up our frequency baselines up higher, and now we have access to this higher information. Well, it's some of the information that I've already obtained, but in the same sense, it's familiar energy that excites the cells in my body, and it just puts a smile on my face, man. Make the world a better place, right? All you gotta do is put a smile on your face. So, that's complex version of what's going on within Dee's simple little head. But in the same sense, it's truly magnificent. These frequency waves are getting carried up higher, right? Our bodies are reacting, but some of us still have things stuck on our nerves, right? That are causing reactions emotionally, which is daunting the physical body. And it's tricking the mental body into making it think something's wrong. So you got to humble yourself. Make sure you understand nothing's wrong. Physical body, okay. I'm not going to drink 3 pops today. I'm only going to drink 1. Maybe I'm going to drink a cup of water because I ain't had any water all day. Just simple things. I'm not saying turn into a health expert all overnight. 'Cause I've been trying to be a health expert for a few years now. The more I study it, the more I like junk food. No, I'm just kidding. But just one simple step, moving in the right direction. That's what it's going to take. Because the mental body is it's getting massaged and just bathed. And what's happening is the emotional body wants that kind of attention. So it's jealousies taking it out on the physical body. Ain't that a anyways, you guys are great. I love you guys. It's been fun, been real. Nobody's in the live chat, so I'm gonna skip tell me something good because I'm not gonna get that physical reaction in the time and space. I know a couple of you are going, oh, we wanted it, but probably nobody. But in the same sense, you guys have been great. So along the mental, the physical, and the emotional body, right? It's obviously a big part of my body of work that I've done internally as myself, right? You know, you thought you'd have one night soul, then I got the 2 nights of the soul, then I went to like 3 nights of the soul, and it's like, wait a minute, I thought there was only one dark night of the soul. Now I went through 3 different versions, each at a higher climax of energy. Why, what now? And then all of a sudden, it was like the Milky Way galaxy and all of the other galaxies that my soul has fractalized over the long course of an old soul's journey. I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, I don't want to go through that. And it's like, that's what keeps everybody in the Milky Way galaxy. And I'm like, oh, well, I do want to go through it. And, of course, exploration, curious, still had a little curious George in me. I need to know it all. I went through that dark night. Why? Not really sure. Heavy, very much so. How? Losing thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people that you really, really enjoyed. Seeing paradise blown up and destroyed, right? Very unfortunate events have happened out there. But anyways, that got me in a self-reflection of why we're here. We're here to be on the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, great. So that 4th dark night of soul really doesn't need to take place. However, we go on these inner journeys and these understandings, right? And we find out who we are. We find out more about ourselves, and it allows ourselves to get to know from a soul level where we've been, what we've done. And when we get to that level, right now it's pulling it back. So, okay, I understand I can be an asshole. I understand I can be very angry and unpleasant. And just pulling all that back into the body and like collapsing it all. So it's like taking all of the multidimensionalities of yourself, forcing it to the center, right? The center tube, column, what Jacob's ladder, however you want to describe it, bringing it all down into the heart, the soul of you, right? That type of embodiment is very powerful. I wouldn't say I've reached that full capability, but I've felt the potentialities of it, and the humming, the vibration that comes off your body is just truly magnificent. In fact, I gotta try it one time. I gotta get like totally lit and then go into Walmart and just see what happens. Thank you for shopping today, customers. And by the way, the guy with the ugly hair and the big orange shirt, thank you. All jokes aside, though, yeah, just understanding all the different bodies of work that I put myself through, all the things that I've strived to do, right? Building the tower and getting the higher information, hanging out with the plays and the Nordics, like I love that. But in the same sense, I didn't have a solid foundation, so we were swaying, right? So it was hard to get clear communication because I couldn't get a solid direct line, right? It was like my frequency line's like wavy, right? And I needed that jump back and forth, like that crazy sharp back. I don't know if that's what frequency that is. In fact, I need to study that a little bit more. So I'll write that down. Frequency waves. We'll talk about that next time. I can see it in my mind's eye, and I understand how the waves work, but I don't know the proper terminology. Apologize for that. Coming shortly. But for me, when I was first starting out, I thought it was showing me as like this is an energy meter for the energy that's running through your vessel, right? The life force energy that's running through me. And the way I seen it was a tube, right? And it was a tube that would look like a Tesla energy wave going in. But the energy was sporadic, right? And as I tuned into this tube, especially after meditations and stuff, I'd see it, and I'd see the cut. Like at first, it was just white and plasma, but then it would turn the color of my soul, right? And when you truly discover the color of your soul, it's like all the light bulbs come on at once because you can now see color. Before it's kind of black and white, you got grayscale, right? Where you can see depth, but it's still black and white. And then the color happens. How does the color happen for me? It was literally climbing that mountain and finding my soul in the valley. Understanding I had to take the depth and go back into the trenches to recover that beautiful ball of joy and bring it back to the mountain. But anyways, we saw this tube, and like I said, it was like a plasma tube, and it would like wiggle up and down the tube. Eventually, it was white. Eventually, turned my soul color. And when I started, it was kind of in between mediumship and actual channeling. When I started doing that, I noticed the waveform would change, right? And then when I go up to the archangels, my Nordic self, it would change even greater. It would like kind of the same form, but more condensed together. And so I started playing with that. And when I'd fractalize myself, so I'd bilocate two myself into higher versions, and I keep my physical vessel in the plane of existence, I would have 3 energy waves that would be simultaneous of each other, and they would spark up and down. So anyone wanted to try to understand the energy within their body and how it runs out, there's little things like that particle tube that I was talking about. There's little things like that that are built into your DNA, right? And as you allow the acceptance and the awareness that, hey, I'm gonna embark on this, I'm gonna, embody it. This is what I go through, right? To have the attention. This is where I'm putting my attention. This is what I want. Once you have that awareness and that understanding, these things, synchronicity happens, right? Well, I was reading something, I heard something the other day. It was like, well, how do you know that you're on the path to enlightenment? And you can judge it by the basis of your synchronicities, right? And I'm sure all you guys have heard Abraham Hicks, right? Staying in that vortex. So when we know when we're aligned, we're in the energy, we're seeing the synchronicities, our bodies are doing things, right? We are evolving, right? Our DNA is expanding. Our light bodies are expanding. Our whole auras are expanding, right? But that can also, we have to go back to the foundational principles of the body, the mind, and the emotional, right? And that's where I was at with the beginning of the video. And I know it was a little bit drawn out, but it's just so complex to get it rolling out of my head just off of that topic, because it's truly remarkable. And you can't understand how much the mental affects the emotional until you separate the two. And then when you separate the two, the body's like the third child. He's like, you haven't played with me in a while. So really developing all of those 3 and getting the foundation is the best way to start. Now, once you get the foundation and you want to peak it up a few notches, obviously Dee's got your back on that one bit. There's plenty of people out in the spiritual community, but I think it's who are they empowering, right? Because if they're giving the power to somebody else, or they're giving the power to your higher self, that's not true power. If they're trying to instill the power within you and show you have the power and the ability to do it, those are the people I've listened to. I listened to a few people who weren't like that and followed those rabbit holes and actually like intertwined and quantum entangled with these people just to see because I'm like a mad scientist, right? I got questions I want to know. Well, this is how I see it. Why do you see it like that, right? Really breaking things down. But when you can bilocate, see the energies, create those optimal auras around your already substantial aura, right? So you got your aura, and then you got other auras wrapping around it from the multidimensionality of it. Because that multidimensionality is a version of you, but it's not contained within a body. Although it affects certain bodies depending on, I guess, the dimensional, the density, right? How dense the particles can conform. Yeah, I was thinking the human being's the most densest, but now I think about it, the black hole might be the densest because it compresses all of the molecules. I'm gonna have to write that down. Excuse me while I take notes. So it's showing me that we have 2 in the chat, which is awesome. Got any questions? Go ahead and punch them in now. If not, I'm going to keep rambling on here for a few more minutes, but we're reaching at about that time that it's a beautiful 1 hour. We did it. Like I said, it was a little bit slow start, but understanding the mental and the physical and the emotional, so crucial. I can't. Everybody wants to talk about the astral body. I want to astral travel. I mean, trust me, bro. I was just like that too. And then I left my astral body out there on the plains, and the damn thing got eaten alive, ripped apart. And then I had to go find all the pieces, sew it back together, bring it back home, listen to mom scold at it. Like, I told you not to go out there. You know, it was ugly. And so that's why I say don't mess with your astral body and get in your light body. Light body can do everything the astral body can do besides read the numbers that I'm looking at on the page. That's about the only thing the astral body is good for. And if you think about that, well, what good is that? That's manipulation of physical, linear people. Right? I think it's cool and there's branch, but it's still driven through intuition in your light body when you can read people's minds a little bit. But physically astral traveling to somebody's location to read a number on a fridge or something in dire situations, yeah, that's cool. That's great. You can do it. But in the invasion of privacy, the invasion of free will that takes place when you astrally project on somebody, it ain't worth it. Stay home, kids. I'm just going back to my old notes here. So you got the etheric temple. It's connected to the emotional body, but it's a etherical temple within your bodies, right? This is the intuition of infinites. Very reactive to the emotion. So if you're emotional, it's going to keep pulling you out of your etheric temple body. Well, if you can stay in your etheric temple body, you reach the angelical. You're inspired by life. You have a love, right? Your perception is not clouded. It hides the body. That's what I put on there. So if you think about that, okay? I'm stuck in my emotional response that causes my physical body to have an alteration that makes my mental body think something's wrong. If we're stuck in that loop, we can't get into our angelical versions. So look at it from the other side. If I can get into my angelical version, what am I doing? I'm getting out of my physical, mental, and emotional bodies. What happens when I get out of those 3 at the same time? I'm in higher bodies, no longer in the lower bodies. When I go to the higher bodies, the higher energy frequency coding can now reprogram, recodex, defrag, straighten out all the BS on the lower bodies, strengthen the foundation, add the rebarb, put in the irrigation. All while I hang out with the angels and I receive the blessings, right? I feel the frequency rolling through my body. It's truly magnificent. So that's it right there in a nutshell. I'm apologize I couldn't have done that at the beginning of the video. If you watched all the way to this point, you're awesome. If you're in the chat, you hung out with D for a little bit. I mean, come on. What's up? Hope you guys are feeling great. I'm doing well. Let's keep in mind, let's pay attention to our Thanksgiving, right? And for the love of God, please go spend it with somebody. Do not spend it alone. Unfortunately, some of you might have to, but do the FaceTime thing. Do something. Interact with some of your family, cousin members, anyone you care. You got to have a cool uncle or something. Call him. He'll be glad to talk to you. And in the same sense, we're spreading this joy because Thanksgiving is a day where the economy shuts down in America, right? It's a day where we're focused on football and drinking beer, right? We ain't focused on giving somebody a hard time. So the energy's so much more free. So we got to celebrate it. We got to enjoy it. If you don't live in the United States, just enjoy the energy that's going to be in the atmosphere on Thursday. It's going to be extremely powerful. Hopefully it carries into the weekend. Looks like it's going to be a lovely one. I tell you what, and then I hear those sleigh bells ring-a-ling, ting, ting, ting-a-ling, too. You know what I'm saying? The magic of Christmas. We could just go ahead and pull good old Jolly St. Nick out after this weekend, which I am actually getting pretty excited about. Not really a Christmas guy, but definitely like the power of the magic, right? The belief. Because Santa is real. And the more you believe in him, the greater your presence and your gifts and abilities will be. So yeah, have fun with that on your Thanksgiving adventures, for real. And then when we go to Thanksgiving and we're with these certain situations come up that we don't really frequently care for, how do we handle? How do we navigate? You know, test how much strength, rigidity, complexity that you've contained. Now go show yourself that you can control it by still being in your truth. I think that's powerful. And I think that's going to go a long way for a lot of you guys out there. So keep that in mind. Let's see, one more thing. Nope, that's just it. Just understanding how much the physical, the mental, and the emotional bodies are tied to each other and how much of a pool we've been in, the emotional and the physical lately, and how much that's caused mental constraints. Because the mental body is not being bombarded, right? They're getting you through the food, the emotional connection, the desire to have a beautiful body. So fix the food, get the beautiful body, do beautiful things, love beautiful people. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. My name's D. Together we are Guiding D Light. You guys stay awesome. You be you. Stay true. Till next time, guys. Peace.